Hi, I am Lisa Daney, and I'm representing a panel of specialists who are sitting with us tonight. We have two special education administrators, Bryn Hall and Jen Hodges, and we have two special education facilitators, Hillary Ray and Donna Jackie, and we're all happy to have the opportunity to engage with you tonight. Tonight, we are presenting on decreasing undesirable behaviors and increasing engagement through predictability using routines and schedules. We do appreciate you spending the evening with us. So moving from the classroom setting to a home environment is difficult. It's difficult for the students, it's difficult for parents, especially when very little notice is given. For example, we had some smoke days, we have exclusions for COVID, and there's a possibility that we could go distance learning sometime. We hope that tonight's content and this presentation will help you be ready for those unpredictable days ahead. When a child transitions from school to home learning, the environment alone can be a distraction. Think about your home. Your child learns so much at home, but the home is typically an unstructured learning environment. And we need to make it more like a school structured learning environment for your child to have continued success with academics. So to help your child transition successfully, we need to help you create a school-like environment for your child. To do this, we would ask you to set up a learning space at home that's free of distractions as much as possible. And we know that can be extremely difficult if there are little guys in the house too. So as much as possible, maybe a bedroom, a den, an office, even the kitchen table that could be quiet time during those learning hours. Set up a desk, a chair in one of these areas, and make it as distraction-free as possible. Make this the permanent workspace for your child. So every time your child sits at that space, they know that it's work time. Just like every time they go to bed, they know it's time to go asleep. So it's a constant work area for your child. Ensure that there's school supplies available in the space, pencils, paper, computer, folders for organization, completed work, work in progress, schedules, to-do lists. This will lessen the time your child leaves this space and becomes distracted. So when we think about school, we think about how kids, as they move through the grades level, their seats get gradually larger and grow with them. Environment, I know for my home environment, we have adult chairs only. I don't have nice chairs that grow with my child. So when we think about how our child is sitting and their posture and focus, it's important to think about the chair that they're using. So I just want you to take a second to think about where your child sits to do their schoolwork and what chair do they sit in. Is it a child chair or is it an adult chair? If your child is in an adult chair, you might straddle. Child is sitting in an adult chair, you might want to put a pillow behind their back to prop them up so they're sitting straighter. Maybe use a footstool to help them gain that straight posture. And you want the computer at eye level if possible. And an easy way to elevate a computer to eye level is to stack books in. For little guys who like to wiggle a lot, it's okay to allow them to kneel in front of their computer where they can move around, and it actually helps the core muscles. Or you can also create a standing desk. During last year when we went out, we had a lot of our administrators create their own standing desks at home. They used books, crates turned upside down, laundry baskets. There's lots of different ways to create that standing desk. So posture for teens is also extremely important. They fit better into these adult chairs, but we want to check for that eye level on the computer. We want to make sure there's enough lighting in the room. Pay attention. They may also need a pillow behind the small of their back, and they'll need to take breaks. And we're going to delve into the benefits of breaks a little later in this presentation. So predictability through routines offer a sense of security and safety for your child. An example of one of my weekday routines is that I get up at 4:30 to exercise. Then I go and feed my animals. I shower. I get my son up and get him ready. I eat breakfast, head to work, and this routine runs pretty smooth. I want you to take the next 20 seconds to think about routines you have in your house. So I'm going to play a short video for you, and I want you to pay attention to the routines this parent has for her children and keep the routine you have focused and center as you're watching.
I can tell you, using daily routines and having daily discussions with your kids, you can do it. And children in general thrive on routine. This is why in our family, we've set up morning and evening routines. And we also use a daily planner sheet to plan our entire day. So we have found that by having the morning routine and evening routine, that we're able to really stick to it, and we're able to get a lot more done. And so here's an example of our morning routine. We start with breakfast, then we brush our teeth, wash our face, and then as a family, we sit in our living room for morning announcements, and we go over the schedule of the day. Then we have mindful meditation for 5 minutes, and we also do morning gratitude. Having the morning gratitude can seem a little silly for children that have never done it before, but it's incredibly important, even if it ends up being something similar every day. Just having that habit of being thankful every day, even if it's just, I'm thankful for my toys, or I'm thankful that I didn't have homework today. It can be that simple, and it just starts that habit at a young age. And we also do 15 minutes of yoga. Then we go through the rest of the day. So make sure that you're also doing time blocking for yourself for work, and then also them doing work. I use the daily planner sheet, and I complete it alongside with my kids, and we go through that every day. And then in the evening, here's an example of our evening routine. We clean up around the world.
Okay. After watching the video, I do want you to think about, you're going to pause for a minute and just think about how many routines did this parent put in place? Some of the ones that I pulled out of the video are morning and evening routines, breakfast, hygiene routines, announcements, schedule, morning gratitude, the daily planner, and yoga. So let's go back to those routines that you thought about at your home for your How is your child's engagement and behaviors during those routine activities? And now I'm going to have you think about the portions of the day you don't have routines and contrast the behavior and engagement of your child during those times of the day. So maybe a Saturday or a Sunday that's not as routine. It is common to see more disruptive behaviors during non-routine times of the day in school too. For example, at recess, before and after school, or when a child has a substitute in the classroom and routines change. So going back to your routine and thinking about the video, are there routines from this video that you can take away tonight to add to your daily routines? Is there just one that you can add to your list and make that portion of your day a routine? And think of how you're going to make this a routine. Maybe use a daily planner, a morning meeting, some of the strategies you saw in this video. Building routines take consistency. You might need to add visual reminders, such as schedules, use prompting, reteaching, and of course, modeling. These will all support the building of routines. Another way to offer predictability is to create schedules. Schedules help your child prepare for what's coming up next, and they also keep your child on task. This is an example of an academic schedule for elementary aged students. You can see that the schedule offers structured time of the day when the child is on a team with a teacher. And then the unstructured time of the day that you would help structure that are highlighted in yellow. So you might have brain breaks scheduled in, and we're going to dive into them later. Independent work where you have tasks for your child to complete. Recess is an important part of the day to schedule. And of course, lunch. And then the end of the day where they may have some free time. You want to structure that and give them tasks of independent, science, social studies, and maybe reading. Let me go back. We went ahead. Some students may also need extra support, and they may need visual schedules to help keep them on task. So this is just an example of how you could create a visual schedule. This is actually in your resource packet that is attached, and you would have your daily schedule here and then your routines that your child does on this side. And here are some picture supports for your child. We're going to watch a short video again on the importance of scheduling and why not only adults, but students also need schedules in their life.
This is a visual schedule.
This is a visual schedule.
This is a visual schedule.
This is a visual schedule. This is also a visual schedule. A visual schedule is basically a calendar or anything used to communicate to people what to expect. Think about it, as adults, we all have schedules in every day of our lives. We all know where we're going. For example, in the time we wake up, we know that we have to eat and bathe, and then go to work, come back from work, have dinner, and then sleep. The point is, we all know what to expect. Likewise, our children also need to know what to expect. They may not have an understanding of time or a calendar, but they need to
to know what is going on. Hence, the reason why we often see behaviors and tantrums with children with autism is because we often bring them through different transitions without explaining to them in advance what is expected of them. So, in short, a visual schedule helps to give these children with autism a sense of predictability of what is expected of them. So today,
So that importance of knowing what's coming next and that predictability is important for all of us. I want you to think about your weekend and how productive you are on your weekend towards a weekday. I know I always have a bunch of stuff that I want to get done on the weekend because I don't put it into a schedule or it's not part of my routine, it often goes undone. And then I wait for the next weekend and it goes undone. So just having those schedules and routines are extremely important to keep us on task. So this is what a secondary hybrid schedule might look like. And this would help a child, a teen in middle school or high school. And you can see that it's broken up into columns. So we have our everyday schedule and our times, and then Wednesday is early out. So that might look a little different. And then we have our AB schedules. And you can see there are extra supports built into the schedule because it's color coded and your child will know when those changes are taking place. And this can be built at home. It can also be built with the child's teacher. So the importance of recess. How does recess help reduce undesirable behaviors and increase engagement? Recess is an important part of a child's routine or schedule. Recess and time away from work is important to reset the brain for learning by increasing the blood flow by full body movement. Encourage your child to do something active at recess. Research has shown that kids learn more quickly after they've exercised. In one study, kids were 20% faster at learning vocabulary words after they'd exercised than when they hadn't. So getting your kid out and away from the computer is extremely important. So some ideas are riding a bike, playing ball, jumping on a trampoline, maybe going for a walk, playing basketball, soccer, dance, jump rope, hula, lots of different ways a kid can get up and move around during that short break throughout the day.